Today we are doing the 30 mile 50k update for the Mizuno Wave Skyrise 3. I'm going to give my thoughts, opinions, scores, etc. on all the major areas of the shoe. After 30 miles, 50k, let's get on with it. So yeah, welcome back to the channel. I said I've been testing out my new shoe rotation this year. I've got 5 new shoes this year for my 2024 rotation. It's obviously going to involve a lot more running this year than ever before, a lot more intensity in terms of my training, and each time I hit the milestones of 30 miles 50k, and then obviously 100 mile 160k 250 mile, and once I hit those milestones I'll drop a review and kind of an overview vlog for each of the shoes. Today the first one to hit that milestone of 30 miles 50k is the Mizuno Wave Skyrise 3. So I'm going to try and make this as short and succinct as possible. These are the type of vlogs I could just talk forever on, in terms of running shoes and tech and how they feel and etc. So I'm going to dive straight in. So let's quickly start with some stats and facts. I'm just going to refer to my notes as I'm talking. So yeah, RRP 120 pounds. I purchased it for 54 on a massive discount. The weight for UK size 11, which is what I purchased it in, is 352 grams or 12.4 ounces. For me, if it's true to size, and I would recommend that for anyone who wishes to go out and get it, go and get your normal running shoe size. And it has a 8mm drop, so 37 millimeters in the heel and 29 millimeters in the forefoot. So yeah, I did a bit of research this year. I wanted to get different shoes for different purposes this year. I didn't want to just get kind of box standard shoes. Last year, those that followed the channel for over 12 months now know that I got a lot of budget shoes last year, tested out 3 budget shoes, really low cost shoes, and they were kind of jack of all trades. They were all kind of daily trainers. This year I wanted to get slightly better quality shoes and not pigeonhole them, but basically get them for a specific purpose, use them for that purpose, and therefore get the best shoes for that specific role. These obviously were my long run shoes. I've only used them for long runs really. I've not used them for anything else. I'm not going to use them for speed work or recovery sessions or daily training or intervals or anything like that. It's going to be purely long runs, which for me are anything over say 15k, 16k, so 10 miles plus, 9-10 miles plus. Anything from that upwards will be what I class as a long run. And these are what I've been using these for predominantly, for those 50 plus Ks. As always, we'll start with the outsole. So yeah, no issues with the grip, really good grip. Obviously it's got that kind of wave tech on the outsole as well. I said I've run it in wet conditions, dry conditions, slightly wintry, icy conditions as well, and again I've had zero issue with grip. It's got X10 carbon rubber on the outsole, and like I said, it's chucked everything I needed to chuck at it. It's done. I've run on canal towpaths, roads, pavements, not trails as such, but kind of light grass as well if I've had to step off the pavement, etc. And it's stood up very well in all areas. So yeah, I always give a score at this point. So yeah, for me at the minute, after 50k 30 miles, I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. Like I said, it's not perfect in any which way. It is quite thick rubber. Obviously the whole shoe itself is quite heavy, but in terms of the grip and the feel and the geometry of the outsole, I'll give it 8 out of 10. Moving on to the midsole, so it's got obviously this wave tech, which again Mizuno is kind of famous for, and I'll mention it now. Those who watched the initial run vlog, this is my first experience of a Mizuno shoe. I've never run a Mizuno as the brand before, so yeah, but it's got this kind of patented wave tech where they use one or more than one foam in that kind of wave layout to try and develop a better, more comfortable ride for the users. Like I said, my first experience of a Mizuno midsole, I was pleasantly surprised. So my first run, again, go and watch the initial run. I'll pop it, I think it's there, or there. Either side, I'll tag it now. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. So I set off on my first run. I think I was running a fairly long run anyway. And for the first maybe 2 or 3k, it felt quite firm, which again, I didn't mind too much for a longer run shoe. I need it to be not too squishy and soft. That's when it bottoms out after a while, and obviously it starts to sap your energy. But after maybe about 2 or 3k, it loosened off nicely, and now it's just a nice, I'd call it like a firm squish. So there's a bit of firmness, but then you do get a bit of give. And the biggest surprise of all was this NEZ core. So Mizuno have got this patented NEZ core, and again when I purchased them, I thought this was kind of a plastic plate or some kind of plated support in the midsole. It's not. It's actually fabric, and obviously it's kind of a to explain it, it's almost like a trampoline. Like I say, it's really squishy, soft, squishy cushion almost. So when you land more heel, it does give you far more propulsion. I'm more of a midfoot striker, but I still do feel that energy return, and I wasn't expecting it really from this kind of shoe, this kind of weighted shoe. The weight of the shoe in terms of and the stack height, I wasn't expecting any kind of noticeable energy return, but it does give you some. And it's been very, very pleasantly surprising. It's really nice to run in for long runs. Like I said, it doesn't sap the energy, it gives you that bit extra back when you're doing your turnover, and as you start to fatigue later in the run, helps you to try and keep that cadence up and that foot strike, and helps you keep your pace going when you're starting to fatigue a little bit. So that's been very pleasantly surprising. So for the midsole, I'm going to give it probably an 8.5 out of 10 at this point. Again, I'll review as I get to the next milestone. If anything's changed, I'll update my scores. But at this point, I'm going to give it 8.5. I say it's been very pleasantly surprising. Really nice, soft, comfortable midsole. Plenty of stack height to protect the legs, and that energy return has just been a bit of an extra bonus, which I wasn't expecting. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for the midsole. So swiftly moving on to the upper now. Very breathable, as kind of an air mesh upper, as stated on the Mizuno website. So yeah, plenty ventilation. The tongue is gusseted both sides with a stretchy fabric. So gusseted on both sides, slightly lower down on the lateral side, but it is gusseted both sides. Not a massive thick tongue, just enough. More plush at the back, but again, not loads and loads. When I get onto the Ghost review, I'll do that next week or later on this week. That'll be dropping next. I've also hit that on in that shoe, the 50k mark, so that's far more plush. You'll see the difference between that and this one, but just plenty cushioning, nice and comfortable. Like I said, the laces are slightly stretchy, so really good quality lace as well. So lockdown's easy to get. I use the runners not, but it is pretty quick to get a good lockdown. Breathability, I've had zero issues with overheating, etc., and no rubbing. There might be a tiny bit too much fabric in the upper, so when I start to cinch it down, you do start to get maybe a bit of bunching, especially in the toe box area. Maybe tiny bit too much fabric, but that's probably because of the wider base. So at the front, you can probably see that it kicks kind of out fairly significantly, just on the outside of the forefoot going into the midfoot, for a nice wide base, which again helps with the stability, but maybe adds a bit more fabric there. But yeah, for upper, I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. So I've said no issues whatsoever. Breathability is pretty good, plenty of ventilation, nice easy quick lockdown. Nice comfortable place for your foot to be. So yeah, that's the main parts of the shoe done. I always finish off now with a value score and a durability score. So value, again, I always generally have to go off the RRP price. So I picked these up for £54, however they are RRP'd for 120. So I always go off, if I was to buy these shoes and I paid the £120 for them, what would my value score be? So was it a good price? Was it overpriced? Is it good value for money? And we're going to get a lot from it, etc. So for £120 RRP, if I was to buy these for that, I would be pretty happy with it anyway. Like I said, it's a lot of shoe. It's got a lot of good points going for it in terms of, like I said, that energy return's a bit of a bonus. It's really comfortable. It's a bit of a mile muncher, which is what I'm using it for, the long runs. The stack height's pretty much perfect. It's not too high. You don't feel like you're on stilts, but it's got plenty there. 29 in the forefoot, 37 in the heel. It's close to maximal height for stack height, so it's got plenty there for those long runs. Protects the legs. The firmness is, again, pretty much there in terms of not too firm, not too soft. Helps you to keep your legs turning over. Protects the legs so it's soft enough for that, but it's not too firm that you get all the hammering of it. But yeah, so overall value, I'm going to have to give it 8.5 out of 10. So for £120, I'd be pretty happy with paying that price for this type of shoe. The fact that I got it for 54, even better. I'd say if I was going to go off that price at £54, I'd have to give it probably 10 or probably 9.5, maybe even 10 out of 10. You can't really get all this type of quality shoe with all the tech that's in it for £54. That's an absolute bargain. The fact that I got it for that price is an absolute bonus. So yeah, I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10 for value for a shoe for 120 RRP. Like I said, there's not a lot that you could compare to it in terms of a long run shoe with that stack and that tech in it. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10. For value. So yeah, just quickly now, durability score, and then just a bit of a wrap up. So yeah, durability, this is just obviously a prediction in terms of how long is the shoe going to last. Is it a 200 mile shoe, 300 mile shoe, in which case the durability will be affected. The value and durability kind of go hand in hand. So if it's high cost and low durability, then the value and the durability scores will probably be affected. But yeah, value, obviously I've given it 8.5 out of 10. It was a £120 shoe. For durability, again, after 50, well, I think I'll put on the screen, I think I've probably done 100k now in this, not 50k. I was a bit slow getting this filmed. But yeah, 100k I think I've pretty much done it, and the outsole's showing 0 wear or tear. The midsole is starting to crease a tiny bit, just maybe in the forefoot area at the top there, but not a lot at all. Upper is, other than the spatters of mud, is spotless. So yeah, durability, I'm going to predict what most of my shoes will probably do, which is 500 miles, 800k plus. I'm pretty sure it's going to do far more than that for what I'm using it for. I said just the not slow mile munching, but just longer runs, which is what it's kind of built for. I think it'll do at least 500 miles, 800k, probably slightly more. So for that, I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. So again, most shoes, if you get a shoe to 500 miles or more, I think everyone's pretty happy with that these days. The fact I'm obviously again for £120 is what it would have been for RRP. I'm pretty happy that it'll get to that mark. The fact I paid 54 again, even more so if I get 500 miles out of £54 shoe, then and for the enjoyment you get from it whilst you're running it. So comparing it to the budget shoes last year, this is far more enjoyable to run the long runs in. So yeah, just a very quick wrap up now. My scores are correct, it's 42 out of 50, so 84%, so not a pretty good start, pretty solid score for a shoe. Like I said, my first experience of a Mizuno. Definitely won't be my last experience of a Mizuno. After this shoe, I'll be definitely purchasing more Mizunos. And this has been the surprise package so far. Like some of my other shoes in the rotation, which again I'll cover as I get to those milestones. I knew what to expect with some of them. Some of them I had very high hopes for, and they've matched them expectations. This one I wasn't 100% sure what to expect. I've never ran in Mizuno, obviously an established brand, but one I'd never ran in before. And then going off the price I managed to get it for, the fact it'd been massively reduced, I wasn't massively expectant. I thought it'd just be a solid mile muncher, even if it's a bit of a plodder and a bit of a brick on the bottom of my foot. As long as I could get them long miles in, I'd have been happy. The fact, as I've just touched upon, the energy return, the geometry of the shoe, the rocker at the front, the comfort, the fact it doesn't feel as heavy as it actually is. It's a 352 gram shoe, 12 ounce shoe. It's not a light shoe by any means, but you can get the long miles in and maybe you don't notice the weight all that much. So that's all positives. Overall, very happy with this shoe. Actually, it's going to be my mile muncher. It's going to prove to be invaluable as I progress from my current Mission 40 training, 10k training, into my half marathon, and then definitely into my marathon training block. This is going to be an invaluable shoe for all those long runs, help me to hit my got my mileage goals, etc. But yeah, drop in the comments if you've run in Mizuno. This is my first experience. The people I have spoke to or have contacted me via the channel or via Strava, etc. It seems to be quite a loyal following. So once people have jumped into a Mizuno, they generally stick with it. It's almost like an Ultra, or I'm trying to think like a Brooks, those type of brands where you get like a loyal following. A lot of people have reached out and said, try this shoe, try this Mizuno, try this Mizuno. They're all very good. They're all really good value. They all do a lot of good things. So, and from what I've experienced so far in this shoe and what I can see in the kind of the shoes within the range, I think that's what it's going to end up being. So I say I'm definitely going to be purchasing more Mizunos going forward. It's a really good brand, and from what I can see, really high build quality, really good shoe. But again, in terms of my beliefs, a really good value in terms of you're not overpricing it compared to some of the other brands out there. But yeah, so we'll wrap it up there. I don't want to bang on, like I said, trying to make it as quick and succinct as possible. So drop in the comments if you've run in Mizuno, which shoes you've run in and what they've been like. But yeah, I'll wrap it up there. First one done. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all on the next one.